Bunch of devils. I'm sick of it. Hey, want to talk about the insurrection? Let me tell you something. You ain't seen the insurrection yet. You keep on pushing our buttons, you low-down sorry compromisers. You God-hating communist America. You'll find out what an insurrection is, because we ain't playing your garbage. Stole an election that everybody knows they stole, and they're trying to do as much damage as they possibly can until we start restoring some order around here.
I don't pray for him as a president. I don't call him president. I don't even acknowledge him as president-elect because he wasn't elected. He stole it. He's a treasonous thief.
I'm just going to say some things again, and controversial until we show the proof. But we'll tell you that, the Supreme Court of Heaven already decertified the 2020 election.
Oh, that's good.
That happened the day of the thievery. That happened November 3rd and November 4th. It was decertified in heaven.
But this is how we've got to this place where this world is so crazy. It's because they've beat many people down into compliance. And Trump was the trumpet. He was the example. He was the warning. Everything that they did to him. Everything that they did to him. I don't care what nobody says. I know what I'm about to say is very controversial. Everything that they did. If you believe, and I can't even say what I really want to say, but I'm going to just look at this image. If you really believe everything's on the up and up, if you really believe that, especially now after everything that's happened, if you believe that everything was on the up and up that happened, and there's no scandal, there's no lying, there's no manipulation, there's no corruption, there's corruption on a level you couldn't even imagine. Why does that matter for a Christian? Because these are the ones pushing these evil, wicked, antichrist agendas.
Murdoch has harmed this country more than any other human being in my lifetime, and he should never have been given citizen. The one thing I'd change about our immigration policy is to send Murdoch back to Australia and keep him there with the whole family.
What you just seen there was some of our old buddies there, where we've seen these clips before where they talk about conspiracy stuff with lies about the election or prophecies or whatever. And we know that today is the day of the election. And as I posted earlier in the community tab about being grieved about where we're getting ready to go. I've been talking about it, of how these teachers and these false prophets and all of them is getting ready to go to a whole new dark, deep level like never before. The devil has raised up new ones, and he's elevating the ones that's been behind, that's been supporting him. And they're going to be elevated. And you're going to see bragging and boasting and pride and things like you've never seen before. It made me think. The title of this message is talking about if your preacher was at January the 6th at that Capitol, when all of that stuff happened, their credibility is shot, is gone. These people that were there, I couldn't put all the pictures of everybody that's there on the thumbnail, but it was a whole lot more of them there. But these ones that I've shown you, we're going to talk about, their credibility is shot. Because you know what? None of them have repented from the lies of being there and following constant conspiracies. There was a study that I talked about many months back that was showing people that's into this conspiracy stuff and believing all of these election lie stuff and all of that, they're more likely to believe in Bigfoot. More likely to believe in some of the Loch Ness Monster and all of this other types of conspiratorial type stuff that's out there. And these people, it makes me wonder, why is everything so a conspiracy? Everything. I'm starting to wonder, if you can go through their entire life, do you question if your mother and father really had you? Do you question? Are you questioning everything? Because everything is being questioned. It made me think about this credibility thing and how it's being shot. It made me think of how, my auntie, I always talk about how my auntie raised me after the death of my parents. She raised me and my brother was about to be put in a foster home. And she was in no condition to raise us, coming from the South, Alabama, divorced from an abusive husband and trying to raise teenage kids, and she took us on. But my uncle, which was my dad's brother, was well off, had a great job, was into real estate at that time, doing very well. He told the courts that he would help my aunt and help take care of us and provide for us. And he did that. We stayed in one of his properties until we stayed in his property. I got here when I was about going on 5 years old. We was in the property less than a year because he threw my aunt out. Because coming to find out, I didn't know until after my aunt told me when we were grown that he always mistreated her. That when she was because she was a younger sister, he always bullied her, beat her up, took advantage of her, did whatever, and it carried all the way into adulthood and things. And he mistreated her. And we were staying in one of his properties. And what kind of man is this? That your brother was murdered. Your brother, and then the kid's mother had committed suicide. She's dead. Here we are, about to be left destitute and out there. And he didn't want us. He was too busy traveling the world and just living it up. But my aunt took us in. And here he is, well off, and let us stay in one of these properties. And because him and my aunt somehow got into it, he burnt her, got in a fight with her somehow, and she still got the burn marks from where he threw her on a hot stove and threw us out. I was in the middle of kindergarten, and we were thrown out. And my aunt had to try to find somewhere to stay. And we eventually end up staying in a very bad neighborhood, and it's too much more to go into But this is this man. And from there, he stayed around until I was about 8 years old. And from there, he dropped off. Credibility shot. No longer in my life. He was late to my graduation. I had walked across the stage in high school. He was supposed to come to my graduation. He was late. It was over with. He shows up late. I mean, he was never around after that, really. He promised me after high school or summer of '88 that he was going to buy me a car. He was all these promises, all of this stuff. And even just several years ago, my aunt wrote him a letter asking, what have I done to you? What did I do wrong to you? Why for you to mistreat me like this? He never responded. I talked to him many years back. His nephew died, which was supposed to have been his favorite nephew. He told me, I'm not going to come to the funeral. I'm not going to make it there. And no one knows if he's still around right now. He's out there in Naples, Florida somewhere, last I've known. No one's talked to him. He's disconnected from the family. But one thing I know, his credibility was shot long ago. I knew it as I moved into my teen years and began to understand how people act. And this is how these people are that we've been talking about. Their credibility is shot. Their credibility, they've lied to people. They've lied to you. They told you that the election at that time, Trump was supposed to be in office in 2020 because God told him. They told you all of these prophecies and this was going to happen on this particular date. This is going to happen on this particular date. Date after date after date. Then they make excuse after excuse after excuse. And then they want to try to do reverse psychology and make like you and I are crazy when they're the ones that's been lying on the Lord. And that's the problem. And all of these people, all of them, the ones that's on this thumbnail, they were at the Capitol January 6th. One of the thing that this event will be in the history books for many years to come when we're dead and gone. And people will say, what the heck happened? Who was the leader? How could that happen in society? What happened for this? And these people claim to be hearing from God, but yet somehow the Holy Spirit supposedly led them to the Capitol. When the Holy Spirit led Jesus into the wilderness, when he went there to fast and pray and have time with the Father, he wasn't there to be part of chaos where people lost their lives, where people were injured. Don't you know that there's plenty of people that's been sent to prison and they ain't done yet? There's people still they're going to be sent to prison for being there and being disruptive and trying to overthrow the government of the United States of America. What the heck is wrong? I mean, this is what's crazy. And these people, and this is what I'm going to say. And if any, I don't care, whatever way people vote or however they vote, but I'm going to tell you one thing. If there's anybody, I don't care what side of the party that they on, but let's stick it, because we know the majority of these Republican deniers that's been denying the election, if they are lying about the election and lying and still lying about that stuff, they do not vote these people in. But unfortunately, a lot of them are going to get voted in. And this is going to lay the foundation for more chaos in the future. Do not vote these people in. There's plenty of other Republicans that are sane, that have sense. People like Mitt Romney he's an outcast, where he's considered a moderate Republican. But you know what? To them, this guy, they want him out of the party. These people, they want to go radical. They want to be, like I said, Taliban style. They want to be bold and just take it to a whole nother level where it's total domination, theocracy, control in a whole different way. And then, as I said, they're going to spread it throughout the world. That's what they want. These people are dangerous. These people are not called by God. If your pastor, your prophet, or anybody that claimed to be standing for the Lord was at the Capitol January the 6th and they still stand on conspiracies and lies, you are following nobody but the enemy himself, the devil himself. He has set you up and he's going to destroy you just like he will destroy these preachers and these prophets that are continuing to work for him. When he's done with them, when he's done doing what he needs to do, you know what? The rug gets pulled out from all of them. And there's going to be hell to pay. And guess what? The Lord is going to deal with each and every one of them in due time. And he's going to deal with anybody that's been following him and standing on this crap in due time as well. So if you've been standing on the lie, if you've been pushing conspiracy, these people, plenty of them, they're with the Kyrie stuff and the Kanye West, they're just all in support of all of this nonsense and craziness. What, the earth is flat? That's what Kyrie believes. They believe, these people, these conspiracies gotta stop. And they've got to be called out. We've got to continue to call it out. We got to continue to talk about this stuff and expose Satan and all his trickery and his devices, because he stepped it up. But you know what we're going to do in this channel? We're going to step it up. We're going to step up the spiritual with our spiritual sword and our warfare. We're going to continue to fight them, and we're going to take them head on and punch them right in between the chops. Evangelism for God is the channel. Maurice Braxton is my name. If you're new, consider subscribing, hit like, coming along for the journey, because we're going to war. We're going to war in a spiritual battle like never before. We're not going to let the enemy, we're not going to let them continue to snatch souls up and have people just walking, as I always say, on the plank and dropping right off a cliff into the pits of hell as the devil laughs, as he's gaining more and more souls. Well, we're going to continue to warn people and try to continue to shout so that those that are out there that are lost, that's been caught up in the web, that maybe a few will be saved. Until the next video, my friends, take care. God bless.